The magic has gone. I don't know. I hate this no countdown business, Jaychele. I really do. It doesn't feel right, does it?
Then just get a new countdown that's actually 30 seconds.
I
The people
know,
will still cheer.
but will they? I don't know.
Yes.
I
They're still going to go, woo!
That's exactly what they do. Okay, folks, we are here again for the Impact Wrestling Rebellion review show. Even without a countdown, we're going to talk about professional wrestling. That's what we do around here. Jaychele, I know you're very excited. This is first. Feels like we haven't done a show just us two for a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
had free agents in a while.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been just us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the show was good.
Yeah. So you're excited, is what you're saying?
Sure.
Good. Good answer. All right, folks. We're going to get
Sasha,
into
are
it
you
here.
excited? Oh, she's giving them the money shot.
Yeah, that is a yes, right?
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was a yes.
she's gonna bite my nose. Okay.
More camera confidence than Bob O'Neill, that much is to be clear. Right, anyway.
She
Here's
gets
what
it
we're
from
going
her
to do here.
mommy.
Here's what we're going to do here. At the end of this show, we're going to announce our new Friday program.
Yes.
Which is a name that I've definitely liked to write down to remember. Is a name that I was very aware of before today. We're very ready to go. We're going to announce that later because, as Jaychele said, the free agents on an indefinite hiatus because, in good news, the industry leader stopped firing 50 wrestlers at a time. So that will be announced later. But let's talk Impact Arena. I think the best way to do this.
I'm giving her a close up before I put her down. Sasha, look at the camera.
Oh, she doesn't want to now.
This is great.
That was
There
horrible.
we
That felt like
go.
she was actively scared of me. That was not. That was.
She doesn't like her dad much either. So sorry, Joe. I think it's just white men that she's afraid of.
Wow.
I'm serious.
I appreciate the sorry you just kind of slid before there. It made me feel way better. But that's fair. I respect it. Okay. Here's what I think we should do here, Jaychele. Rather than going kind of linear straight line, match by match, let's talk broadly.
Okay.
What was your favorite match on Rebellion? And then we'll start there and kind of work our way through it. What was your favorite on the show?
X Division match.
Okay, which was, of course, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, and Speedball Mike Bailey, right?
Yes.
Now, I expected that to be your answer. The super exciting, like, modern triple threat match, right, where you had a lot of innovative offense.
Mm-hmm.
They even did, for the old...
Oh.
Look at me now. Now I'm freezing. You see what's happening around here? They even had, for the old heads in the chat, they did like a little Unbreakable tribute at the start. Speedball is red hot right now. Jaychele, elaborate on your favorite match of the night, the triple threats. One that I think no one will be surprised at being your pick, but it was damn good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was really excited for this match going into it. I was not expecting the outcome at all. I thought this was going to be Speedball's title, especially because of how hot he is coming off of Mania Weekend and all of that stuff. But oh my God, this was a spot fest. I obviously love spot fests. Quick action, fast paced, high flyers. That's exactly what I look for in a wrestling match. And I think that all of these guys have kind of almost the same style, extremely athletic, extremely able to be high flyers, and it just worked out really well this time. I thought it was a very strong showing for them.
I did too. It inevitably brings up that conversation that we have a lot with Impact about, is this division as good as it is? And I think credit to them, they've made this belt important again over the last couple of years, which is cool. Josh Alexander's reign did that, right? The belt was important.
Oh yeah.
Trey had a good reign too. But it is hard not to watch some of these guys and think, shouldn't they be wrestling for the world title? And you and I talk about this a lot. Is there a slightly bittersweet element when you see Ace Austin win this match, in the sense that, like, it kind of feels like Ace should be moving on from this division to me. Yeah. Where are you at on that whole situation right now?
Honestly, the thing with the X Division title is they've done a better job now of making it more important, like you said, but at the same time, it's still not the world title. And they said this is Austin's third reign as X Division champion. And we get to the point where it's like, when do you move them up? Like, if we're going to treat this like a mid-card title, right, then when do these people move out of the mid-card? Like
Yeah.
Chris Bay, when does he move out of the mid card? Not just I'm a Chris Bay fan, but like you have him in this Bullet Club feud, and if he's getting wins, it makes sense for him to move on to face somebody for the world title. And they have Josh and Speedball at Pro Wrestling Revolver, but like I need to see that on TV now. Like there's some people in the division who are ready, and I think that they're just so more afraid of if they lose those people in the X division and they lose the importance of the X division title, which is when I think that they need to be having more talent signed and kind of rotating in and out more. Like when Macklin was in the X division picture, I thought that was really interesting because normally we just see like the same high flying guys in the division. So
absolutely, it's interesting. I think one of the big challenges for them this year, Speedball sure feels like genuinely one of the hottest wrestlers in the world right now.
Yeah.
And I think one of Impact's challenges is like having some of that kind of rub off on them in terms of hype, like because a lot of Speedball's most hyped up work is happening outside of Impact. I don't think that's just is what it is. It's tough on TV. Like TV audience is different, but
it's also the people that he's able to work with on the indies as well, as opposed to people in Impact.
Yes. Yeah, and you mentioned the Josh. Where's the match happened with Josh Alexander? You say it's been booked.
Pro Wrestling Revolver, I think.
Okay,
that's at Double or Nothing weekend.
It sure feels like it's saying that if I was, if I had any say in it, I'd be trying to get on Impact TV in some form or fashion, whether it's literally that match or their own take on it. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting with Trey. He just had the belt for 6 months. So kind of if it's time for him to move up, he wouldn't be my first pick, but I'm all for kind of fresh face in the main event scene. But I think that's a big conversation for another day. We both agree this match was pretty damn awesome and they killed it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. No question about that. Okay. I would say, right alongside that, I think in the top tier in terms of match quality, was the main event. The aforementioned Josh Alexander finally winning the title against Moose. Yeah. Now, our pal over at Wrestle Purist, Monty and I, we had a good conversation about this yesterday. I think you can have a real debate about whether or not this angle worked in a literal sense. Did it do business? Not really. So on and so forth. But
I got some takes on this.
We'll circle back to it. I think it's worth talking about.
Okay.
What I will say is this audience in attendance, big or small as it may have been, they were emotionally invested. Certainly. I think that was clear. And it was a genuinely cool moment when Josh won the title. As the match they had, and I think the world of Josh Alexander, but quite frankly, I thought this way over-delivered as an actual match. I thought this was much better than I kind of expected.
Yeah.
Anticipated. Yeah, exactly. So, and it was very simple, right? Josh kind of out-wrestled him initially. Moose, which I thought was whoever produced it was a good call. The cut-off, he used Josh's family to bait him into getting cut off, which I thought was clever. Josh's just pure aggression and intensity was awesome. Great Falls finished late with the foot on the rope, so on and so forth. They honestly did a hell of a job with this. I love the match. We'll go back to the angle in a second, but firstly, what did you think of the main event itself, Jaychele?
First of all, first thing I want to talk about is Josh's son coming out in the oh my god, my heart. I was like, oh, that was so cute. I think the way that they positioned his family to be in the camera and all of that stuff was perfect. They were capitalizing on his family throughout the whole entire angle, even from the beginning. So it makes sense to tie it in now at the end. Yeah. I think the match was actually structured beautifully.
Agree.
Was not expecting that at all from Moose. Most of the Moose matches have been. Yep. But regardless of my feelings about Moose, he had a very good match. I don't want to be spiteful, so I'm not going to say what I'm thinking about Josh Alexander in this match because it's going to hurt Moose fans. If there are any Moose fans in the chat, if there are, please leave. If not, sorry, I'm dead serious. People were chanting Moose in the audience, and I was like, what the fuck?
That was weird, yeah. Yeah. You ideally wouldn't have a split crowd after telling the story they're telling, but wrestling fans.
That man almost killed somebody's wife.
It was a weird vibe.
That man almost killed his wife. I'm not gonna.
I will say about Moose, his work. Now, I've been consistent. I think he's got a lot better. But his best matches are usually when he's doing cool athletic shit, and they're just kind of trading. it was, really genuinely impressive. The phrase used about the structure. This was like a classical world title match. They went like 25 minutes, and they had a long control segment. Like it was. This sounds almost like I'm being kind of dismissive, but like it was a real world title match, and the crowd loved it. They popped huge for the Styles Clash at the end.
I think the submissions helped a lot too, because
Yes.
like I was biting a lot during the submissions, and even the turnbuckle stuff. When Josh kicked out of that, I was like, oh my god, like that actually. I was like, holy shit, are they actually gonna fuck him over?
Yeah. So let's talk about the angle because it is part of the story, and I think it's divisive, and I think this is interesting. I was there live. It doesn't sound like it came across on TV correctly, but the crowd was trying Walking Weapon Moose sucks. Walking
What it
Weapon Moose sucks.
sounded like was Walking Weapon. People were saying Moose, and then somebody like the other side of the crowd said sucks. That's what it sounded like. It was like Walking Weapon was one chant, Moose was one chant, and a response to Moose was the sucks chant.
Yeah, there was. It sounded like some folks, and again, you were there, Philly, so but it sounded like some folks were trying to like extend Moose's name so that it would fit in the chant. Like, they weren't just saying Moose; they were like Moose, oh, Moose. Like it was weird. It was strange, but nonetheless. So the angle, so it's been kind of divisive, and I get why. Oh my goodness, the light that we currently.
Can you stall for 1 second so I can
check
on my puppy? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's fine. These things happen, folks. We're all professionals around here. Jaychele's lighting system is being attacked. I'm sure it's fine. Hopefully, when she comes back, the light will still be on. We shall see. Obviously, I'm willing to do a solo review of Impact Wrestling Rebellion, but thankfully, I will not have to. We appreciate it. Is everything okay, Jaychele? Is the light still working?
So what she did is she bit the bottom of the ring light stand, and she got her mouth stuck on one of the legs of it. So she's fine now, but.
That sounded like you were describing the opposite of someone being fine. That sounded quite traumatic.
She's okay now. Look, see.
Okay. All right, good.
She's all good.
Good
she
question.
was just having a moment.
Is she going into business for herself? Is a good question.
Oh, she's licked the mic, so I think the answer is yes.
Yes, absolutely. I respect it. A true pro. It's been very divisive. Impact fans have, I think, understandably defended it because it's been compelling TV for them. But I think I know your stance. Where are you at 6 months after, now that we've ended up where we kind of could have been the Bound for Glory? What do you think of this whole story? Go ahead.
It feels like we went backwards instead of going forwards. I think having Josh winning the title from Christian would have been a much better and substantial moment. I don't think Moose is honestly much better off than he was before. Like, looking at his standpoint, he was world champion, but he never needed that. He never needed to be world champion, in my opinion. But that was Josh's time, 6 months ago or whatever. But I still think that, like, this moment, maybe for Josh it feels better, but for me it doesn't feel much better than it would have if he just won it off a Christian. There's not that much.
Yeah, I understand. So
I don't know the word to describe it.
For
it's
you,
not that much return on investment.
Yeah.
I think.
So here's the thing with this stuff. I think we can all talk about our personal opinions on it. For me, I'd have rather Josh just been champ 6 months ago. I think you're in the same boat. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Chat, you may be divided. I don't know. In terms of if it worked or not, we probably need to, and I get the sense I know what the answer is going to be, and I think there's other factors, but did this increase business? Did they sell more tickets and pay-per-views because people wanted to see Josh beat Moose? It doesn't seem like the evidence is going to suggest that was the case. So make that what you will. There were definitely people.
I also have the question if any Impact storylines can make people want to buy a show more than it just being based off of.
That's kind of why I pull my punches.
That Becky Bianca comparison is very good. Very good.
It is, because it's like you paid off a story that we didn't ask for almost. But I always pull my punches with this stuff because, quite frankly, I do feel bad for the Impact creative in the sense that I do think, in some ways, they're going to sell as many tickets as they're going to sell, regardless of what they do. I mean, you and I could book the show. Paul Heyman could book the show. It's the Impact. It is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think we both know folks that like genuinely lost interest when they did the thing to Josh where he got screwed at the pay-per-view.
Oh yeah,
like that was a real thing, and I don't know. I think wrestling fans are different now, and I don't know how many actually bought the pay-per-view with a sincere read of like, I want to see Josh kick his ass. Like, I don't think that's a real thing necessarily.
Wasn't that show Bound for Glory too? Like one of their headlining shows?
Yes.
Not that it matters, but like,
I get you. Yeah.
I would think of it also like Bianca Becky SummerSlam, and then you turn around, but they paid this one off at WrestleMania, so it makes more sense here. But yeah, I don't know.
And again, this is where it gets tough. Is like with Becky and Bianca, it's like they're doing stuff for TV, but ultimately we could never judge its effect on business because like WrestleMania would do okay if you and I were in the main event, right? I mean, mate, what an incredible fault that is. Us on the billboard. But what I mean is, like, you can't read it. Like, whereas with Impact, it's like, whether it went up or down, it feels like a pretty good indication. I'm trying to find. I don't know if we got any read on the buy rate for Bound for Glory. Let me try.
Yeah, I saw the ticket sales, but I didn't see much of the actual buys.
Because the thing with Bound for Glory, I just remembered was, in fairness, that was the show when Dynamite was moved to a Saturday. Do you remember that? Bound for Glory was on the same night as the Dynamite episode, and they had to go late, and there was a whole...
Oh!
Yeah. There was a whole...
My dog barked at me.
Okay. You sounded genuinely scared.
Oh my god. No, this is incorrect. It is Bobby and Oracle that would sell at MSG. Or the Nashville Dome, whatever the fuck was it? What the fuck was it? Where are they doing it? The one that with the fucking Bob said he's gonna throw Oracle off on the cement.
That seems spiteful that you just singled me out as not being a draw. That seems
no. I was going. It's long-term storytelling, Joe.
Yeah. All right.
You know how like they forget Julia Hart, but they do the other House of Black long-term stories.
That was spiteful too. Very spiteful.
I didn't start talking about like CL Caps and how she's not going to be there tonight.
I mean, I think I don't really want her to be on TV. You know, like, I mean, I'm a firm believer in sometimes you're better to stay at home. I'm very consistent on that stance. So that was not spiteful so much as it was supporting my agenda. Nonetheless, overall, thumbs up on the main event. We're both happy to see Josh as champ. What do you think? Do you think Josh is the champ to use in terms of getting some of those other guys into the main event scene? A guy like it seems like Eddie Edwards is going to be next. But, you know, eventually a Chris Bay, a Ace Austin, Speedball, so on and so forth. Josh is the champ to do that with, right?
It would make sense to do it with him, yes. Is it going to happen? I don't know if Eddie Edwards is your first challenger.
Yeah.
I see his reign looking like Eddie Edwards, Steve Maclin, maybe a Jay White match. But Jay White can't really lose, so I don't know how you would do that unless you can do some faulty finish. Who are their heels besides?
This sounds awesome.
A Matt Cardona match for sure.
I love this lineup you're giving me here.
Oh.
3 good wrestlers and Matt Cardona.
But I said Eddie Edwards.
Let me tell you something. He's low key. He's on fire. I'm being real.
Is he turning back the years for you?
Since he turned heel, I think he's been great in the ring. Now I get he's kind of bland and dry, but like I genuinely think he's been really good. But you know, you get what you get.
I think his match with Chris Bay was good.
Feels like you was not focused on Eddie. I will say this was mentioned to me. Yes, you did tell me about this. The Samoa Joe slander that took place on Saturday.
It wasn't aimed towards him. It was aimed towards my defending of the women's division. So that's
it does feel like you could have picked someone else.
He was the first person that came to my mind because of
recency. Understand. It's like just the fact that they've signed like 40 wrestlers this year and there's only one that I love and you chose that one is a little bit tough. You know,
well, you called Buddy Matthews. I didn't say Buddy Matthews.
I omitted Bud Matt from my... Oh, dear. Okay. Just exploded the mic again. Okay, that's fine.
I
That's
can't
fine.
wait to tell Shoot about this and how you're faking your fandom.
Owned. I forget he works there sometimes. Anyway, up
Remember,
next, pick your
remember
next.
how I
Yes.
showed you somebody on Twitter who thought that I wasn't a Blake Christian fan?
Yeah, happens. Yeah,
Sorry,
Bud Matt was dominating Twitter the other day. Anyway, Jay
I
Shell.
that is correct.
Yes, it was. Your next favorite match on this show.
um, Gianna Taya.
Hmm. I like it. I like it. Is it just me or did Ty Valkyrie look like super locked in for this and
Oh
really
yeah,
fired up?
I
Right?
think it's her being back in Impact. I think she missed the Impact
Mm-hmm.
zone. Um,
Yeah.
I hate saying that. That sounds so cringy when I
Yeah,
say
I know.
Impact zone. um, even during her entrance, even at multiverse of matches, you could see she was just turned up to another level. She was really excited.
Yeah.
She was fighting for a title that she cared about too, that really mattered
Mm-hmm.
to her. So I think that made her turn it up. And it's Deanna. Deanna can have a good match with basically anybody.
Yeah.
And Taya, I think she hasn't really gotten too much buzz after leaving. As I would have expected her to. I would have expected her to get more buzz, but I feel like this match kind of put her back on the map for some people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The honor is she's a really smart wrestler. And like some of her stuff in terms of content is really fun to like be nerdy about and pick apart. Like, did you see some of her cutoffs in this match? She had like a Russian leg sweep into the apron. She did that one deal where she pulled Ty head first at the post, and I like popped and pumped my fist.
Mm-hmm.
She got some really cool shit. I wish they'd have let her get some heat in this, just in like the middle, but I get it. They kind of did back and forth, so I
Yeah.
get why it popped you especially. The good thing is all of the offense looked good, and there was some genuine drama late. I think Tyra is someone that you're right, didn't get a lot of buzz because, quite frankly, it felt like wrestling changed so little in her time away from, like, in her time in WWE.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just the same, right? So she came back and she's in the same spot, which is fine because it's a good spot for her. So I thought she did really good. Did the finish surprise you at all?
Kind of yes, kind of no.
Yeah,
Because so Deanna's about to lose her other title too, which means she'll be titleless. So I would have expected them to at
owned.
least. I love how I explained that. Like that doesn't obviously, that's obviously connected. So great. Um, that means she'll be titleless. Okay, fuck off, Jaychele. Um, but the thing for me here is, I think Ty had to get a win.
Mm.
She's re-debuting, and they value her a lot in that division, as they should. Um, Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Taya was the one to take the belt. Oh God, to take the belt off of Tasha. Jesus Christ.
Is that an alarm?
My mom called me.
Oh, okay. Would you like to? Should I
Nope.
fill dead air again?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Fair. Yeah. Alarms. Sometimes you do shows a Monty and alarms go off. It's like fuck. It's like you're in.
No, Monty's alarms went off. That wasn't me. That was on his
Yeah,
phone.
that piece of shit. Anyway, okay. My next favorite match on this show. I'm looking. I am going to go with the opener.
Okay.
Saban, the great Jay White, Switchblade, and Steve Macklin. Some of my favorite guys in the promotion. And Jay White, who is definitely not in the promotion, but is one of my favorite guys. Here's what was great about this match, Jay Shell. Couple things. Firstly, putting it before the X Division triple threat because you knew that they needed a clean slate.
Yes.
If they followed the X Division triple threat, it would have been really hard for them.
Yes.
But with that in mind, credit to these guys because they worked like a really contained is the wrong word because they still did some crazy stuff, but like you could tell they left stuff on the table because they knew what was coming up later in the show.
Yes. Yeah.
That is good agenting, that's good production, that's good like quality control. That stuff Impact's genuinely been good at for the last couple of years, and I think the pandemic shows helped them a lot with. So that stood out. My main takeaway, I think you know this. Steve Macklin has been a revelation for me in Impact. I think he's been awesome. It was huge to see him get the win here. I like the match a lot. Jaychele, what did you think?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him to win. I was expecting Jay White to get his win back from Saban. Um, I really wasn't. I thought Macklin was just going to be in this match as not a bump guy, but a bigger guy.
Yeah.
A guy who can work as more of a powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which he did. But I love the way that he won too. The sneak win was great. I don't know where he's gonna go from here, but I'm excited regardless. I think he's gonna get a world title shot pretty soon. It's more beneficial now that there's a heel roster for or face champion to face.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. I think it sure feels like, and maybe I'm overstating it because I'm a fan of both guys. It feels like Josh and Macklin is going to be like kind of awesome, doesn't it?
Oh, it will. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
I hope they tell the story of Steve Macklin, and this is where I do feel for them. They've actually kind of nailed the Steve Macklin thing, right? Like he's been pushed. He had a lot of squash matches. They've given him promo time. This is where the lack of eyeballs on the promotion hurts them because it feels like people just don't realize this is happening. And
Yeah.
I wish they did because he's killing it. The comparison I made with for Oracle, because I think Oracle would love him. I was like, he's kind of like their Sheamus. Like he kind of just clubs and whacks
Yeah.
guys and has cool matches and like he rules. I mean, Philly mentions the spot I had in my notes. That spot was absurd.
Oh yeah.
He just dove.
I had to go back and rewatch that. Yeah, that was crazy.
And it had that deal where like the crowd, and Philly can confirm this, it had that vibe where like, the crowd took like 30 seconds to appreciate what had just happened. They were like, wait, where did he go? He just wiped out. He almost took the ring announcer out. Tremendous. He was great here. Obviously, Jay White and Chris Sabin, enough said that those guys are what they are. I will say also, shout out to Tom Hannafin. Hannafin? Is that his name? Tom Hannafin? Hannafin. I loved the thing he did about the triple threat stats. Did you catch that when he was like, they've had 6 triple threat matches? Chris Sabin has had 448 or whatever the number was. It was wrong.
I did not hear that. Oh my god.
I think it was like, genuinely, I think it was 70 or something. But it was still awesome. it sounded cool. And what do you think of them as an announce team?
I love them. I love them.
There you go.
Oh my god. I think it's honestly one of my favorite announce teams. The only way that it would be better is if they added Veda permanently, I think. But oh my god. Matt on commentary is amazing. It's way better than I would have expected. I mean, he was always a good promo, so it makes sense that he could, be good on commentary, but he compliments Tom very, very well.
You ready for me to be a real nerd?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you know that he did commentary on 205 Live for like multiple months? Yeah.
I remember that. I didn't listen to it, but I remember it.
So when he did that, I watched that show every week. It was like me and Confirm Shoot. We didn't like him much on commentary. He's actually quite good. They're a lot better than Striker and D'Lo. Bless D'Lo's heart, but
Oh god.
You get what you get, I suppose. They're a good team.
I can't believe they let Tom go, to be honest. I don't really understand that still.
Well,
did he do some stuff I don't know about?
No, Tom had been there for like, how long had he probably been there? 9 years? And like, if he's not going to commentate Raw and you don't trust him to do that, which I'm not saying they shouldn't have trusted him, but they obviously didn't, right? They always would switch him out.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, why? Now they have Jimmy, what's his name?
I like Jimmy Smith, but I get you. Who do you prefer, Vic Joseph or Tom Hannafin?
Who do I like more?
Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah. Because it feels like those two are battling for the same spot a lot, didn't it?
Well, yeah.
What was Tom doing at the end?
205?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like he went from being like... At some point, it felt like he went from being like the next guy up to like just being out of the picture or whatever. It's weird. I'm not sure.
It was the 205 Live or main event, yeah.
But I think he was good for wrestling because Impact needed a real lead announcer, and they've got one. I mean, I think with Tom, they might have actually the voice that people like about, associate with their product in a positive way. So
I like Wade Barrett on commentary.
Yeah.
I think he just adds something different. I always like when wrestlers transition into commentary positions.
Do you prefer him to Nigel?
No.
No, me either. That's why I struggle with that. I feel bad for Nigel. He couldn't make those shows, and they just switched him out for another Brit and was like, good luck.
What's his... Percy? Do you remember Percy Watson when he used to do commentary?
I liked Percy.
I liked him too. I liked him because I used to watch him in NXT. NXT game shows used to be my shit. That's why I know a lot of wrestlers now. It's just like...
He was hilarious on that too.
I saw fucking Low-Key on an NXT
Yeah.
show, and that's how I knew
That
Loki.
that would break his heart, by the way.
Oh
Like
god.
he would be so devastated at someone knowing him from that show. Awful. Anyway, okay. So we've got our
Wrestle
top four
Con.
here. What, what he put on a hell of a show, WrestleCon.
Oh,
What match is up next for you, Jaychele, as we kind of fill
Tasha
this up?
match. Tasha match.
Tasha Steelz and Rosemary.
I think you would have another match in this place, but I have the Tasha match.
That's fine. What would you? Where was you at when this was the direction they took with Tasha's like title defense? Was you because I like Rosemary, but I was kind of like, oh, that's not the most exciting. What did you think before we even get to the match?
I think they could have chosen a better first opponent for her.
Yeah.
At least in ring wise, I would have given her fucking Lady Frost or something, or even Giselle. Um, I don't like the scary gimmick. I can't, I
Yeah.
can't get my mind past it. But I think, oh god, oh no, I take back my comments on Percy Watson. But I would have also, went for Masha as well. I feel like there was a lot of other options that they could have,
Yeah.
moved forward with that they just simply seemingly chose not to. Even if they brought in like Miranda Alizé, because they brought her in for Diana's challenge, like I don't know. I get it, but at the same time, I'm like, I would have just left them in the tag team picture right now.
Does Rosemary, as kind of fun as she's been in this promotion, does she suffer slightly from what we talk about with an Eddie Edwards, where it's like they've been there for a long time, and
Yeah.
it kind of, and that's not even a criticism, right? Like,
Yeah.
they kind of feel like they're like the status quo. Like they always go to them when they need a paper, like, and it kind of wears on you a little bit. I think that's part of it, right?
Yeah, it feels kind of like a fallback guy, like a
Safety net almost, talent wise, right?
yeah. Like I'm trying to think of a wrestler who in like WWE or something that they would fall back on. I mean, they kind of do the same thing with Bobby Lashley, to be honest. If like they need somebody for pay-per-view, somebody who's reliable, they'll just. Do you see what feud he's in right now, Joe?
Oh, I don't watch the show. No.
Oh, okay.
It's a shame when people I like are on that show. It's a shame. I'd rather they go home. Anyway, that's it, folks. It's a joke, right? I want everyone to be enjoying their job. This match was actually quite good, though.
Yeah.
This I also thought was better than I expected it to be, and I'd say that with I'd like both women, but I just didn't know how it would click.
I'm
Tasha
meeting
Steelz.
Tasha.
Yes, I mean I will let you elaborate on this here in a second.
Okay.
Because I know that she's your favorite, but like, it's real cool watching her confident. I mean, she was always confident, but as champ, you can see it's like leveled up, right? Filling that role slowly but surely, feeling more comfortable. Yeah, go for it. Just put over your fave for a little bit. I'm all for that kind of content around here.
Yeah, I'm very happy for her. I can't wait to finally meet her. I'm gonna cry. It's gonna be some tears. It's gonna be a whole thing. We'll take pictures. It'll be a day. But I loved her gear and her face paint and everything for this. I love when wrestlers, kind of get into characters and stuff like that. And I think that the Scar character just really works with Tasha. Her promos, I think, even as champion, are getting better.
Yeah.
I also think the way that she's utilizing Savannah now kind of works in her favor without even diminishing the match. Before, I thought the Savannah stuff would diminish the match sometimes. Like even in the first match with Mickey, I was like, well, maybe it was a little bit too much for me. But now they're using the Savannah thing less and less. Eventually, Savannah will turn and they'll do a face thing. It'll be Wardlow, MJF. It'll be cool, right?
Yeah.
But for right now, I think Tasha's match ability, she's at a point where she's now more able to look like a champion in the ring, which I feel like she was kind of struggling to get there a little bit. She was kind of just wrestling as like a challenger, but now she has the confidence, like you said. She's putting it together as champ, and I'm very excited for her.
It was noticeable how much better her offense looked than like even 3 months ago.
Oh,
when she was throwing strikes at the start, her stuff had snap, and it was really noticeable, which is cool. You mentioned the interference element. It was neat the way they did it here, and then they went into like an elaborate finish. So by the time that Tasha won, as you kind of laid out, it felt like she had just won. Like you had the excitement of a kick out, and then Rosemary hit some stuff, and it wasn't a flat interference pin out there. So
The ending was a little sloppy. I have to say that
yeah,
though.
it
It was a
wasn't
little.
smooth, but what I mean is it wasn't like they did one interference finish, right? They did a
Yes.
finishing stretch after, which I thought helped the match. That's one thing, and I'll get into this when we talk about all the matches individually, but like the Asian on these shows has been consistently good for like 2 years now. And I always used to say this when Jeremy would be confused while I was reviewing some random Impact Plus show. They're normally quite well produced from an in-ring perspective. This show was a good
Hmm.
example of that. Yeah, I like the women's title match too. They was in a tough spot following the marathon gauntlet match that came before it,
Oh my
and then
god.
being the bridge to the main event. Before we get there though, I will now take us in the direction of the great Tomohiro Ishii, who wrestled Jonah, who often Jaychele accuses me of being a fan of.
Which you
Uh,
are.
just a bizarre attack on
Joe,
me at
but
every
you
turn.
are Joe.
Do you know that I think I've told you before, but like Shoot has me saved in his phone as Jonah's action figure picture.
Good. Because you're a Jonah fan.
So this one, I'm a little bit. This was certainly fun. I wouldn't accuse this of being bad because it wasn't. It was fun, but they did this weird thing with the layout of this match where like Jonah kind of kicked the shit out of him for what felt like 10 minutes. And you could tell that, like, maybe I'm being unfair. I could be. But, like, it sure felt like the live crowd got kind of just, like, disinterested. It felt like he was beating him up for so long.
Yeah. I I don't understand Jonah very much right now. I don't know what his
Yeah.
thing is. Like, I don't know. After the PCO stuff, I was just very confused with what's happening with Jonah and this character now, which makes me kind of even more confused when I see him in a match. I'm like, am I supposed to be in support of this or no? Because he's like kind of a face, but not really.
So, I've always took it as he's a heel, but I think what you're basically getting at is the PCO stuff was weird because PCO is in Honor No More.
Yes.
He was kind of like the baby face in those matches to me.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
but like I don't but PCO would like rise again and the crowd would go crazy for him. So like
Yeah, I think Jonah's a heel. I think, but then I don't know. Yeah, I get you.
I think Tomohiro has to be a face because he
Yeah,
wrestled Cole. I mean,
because
if
he
you're going to
fucking
get into
rules. Yeah, that's
that
the
as
reason.
well,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think what happened
PCO
here,
injured?
honestly, what?
Is PCO injured?
Probably. I hope not. I don't know. I think what happened here, because political protest, and I think that was the right thing. Is Tomohiro Ishii can beat
Yeah,
Jonah, but I think the decision was made from an impact perspective of okay, our guy's putting him over. Let's let him get some heat, and he did. He beat him up from pillar to post. Once he made a comeback and they started trading strikes and doing big lad stuff and having fun, I thought it was pretty cool. The finish was amazing, right? The
yes,
brainbuster looked
yeah.
incredible. I just,
Big lad stuff.
well, it's true. That's what, just chopping each other and shit and whacking each other. It's fun, but I just felt that to me, they spent too much time at the first kind of act of the match was extended through 2/3 of it. I just thought it was a weird choice. Again, not a bad match, a fun match. I just thought it would be better, which makes it kind of an outlier on this show where everything over delivered. What did you think of it anyway? I'm sorry, I rambled there. What did you
I
think?
don't know. I thought it was there. I mean, I wasn't expecting this to be my match. I've never really been a huge fan of Jonah, unlike somebody here sitting right next to me on StreamYard. But I thought it was good. I thought that it was a pay-per-view match. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
like like I don't want this to come off as disrespectful, but like the WWE like filler matches in between pay-per-views that are like kind of like buffers. They're not any standouts or anything like that, but like
yeah.
it was a buffer match for me.
That's fine. That's fine. I would just say maybe my problem is I thought it was going to be more than that. That's all.
Yeah,
But
I mean
it's
that's
fine.
fair.
Yeah, it's no. Again, and I want to stress it was pretty good. It was what it was. Okay, I think we're left with, unless I'm missing something. We talked about the triple threat. We talked about the honor match, X Division, Ishii Jonah, co-main main. That leaves us with just one, the tag team gauntlet bout, which I believe clocked in at approximately 2.5 hours. We had a lot here. Jordan Grace and W. Morrissey were a team, which I thought was pretty fun, actually.
I actually like that.
Yeah.
I like Jordan. Whenever Jordan's involved with the guys, I love it. I live for it.
Yeah, because the way they present it's fun, right?
Yeah. I
Mhm.
honestly, I don't think it'll happen, but I honestly hope that Jordan wins the world title one day.
So on the when she was wrestling in this match, I think Tom said
She wants to
that,
win all the
like,
titles.
yeah, he wants to win all the time. That would be a fascinating like story to tell. Like if you did it slowly and
Oh
like
yeah.
they won the tag titles and like you edged it and then you get to a point where it's like she's got them all but that, you know?
I think what you do is you make her X Division champion and she enacts
Yeah.
option C, and then you just do it that way. But
I mean, her and Josh Alexander would legitimately be awesome, right?
oh yeah, it would kill.
And it would also be nice for them to do that kind of thing without having like the immediate cloud lingering over it that they had when Tessa won the belt, because that was a brutal. That was supposed to be like a victory lap for them, you know. Did not work out that way, but nonetheless,
If you really want to erase Tessa's legacy, then I think you just do this. You do
just,
what WWE
yeah.
does, and you go brain dead, and you remember nothing else, and you just act like that she's the first woman to win the title. Just
yeah, I too.
Yes, do this.
By the way, what happened with Gresh on this show?
He has a concussion. That's why he couldn't work Progress either.
Okay, hang on. I'm not a detective, but I was informed of this and I was very confused. Because Gresh, I'm almost certain, wrestled in Canada on Saturday. Did he not? Friday?
Did he really? He was at the show, which makes me think that he's injured.
Yeah, to be clear, I'm not questioning he's like, I'm not calling him a coward. I'm just... Someone said to me that he would wrestle on Friday.
Contract thing, then.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That would be weird because it was already booked.
Yeah.
I
thought it was a concussion still.
It appears that he wrestled on Friday in Canada to me, from what I can... Yeah, he wrestled for promotion in Canada on Friday night. I don't know what the deal was. Maybe, in fairness, he could have aggravated the injury, so we don't know. But when I came back from the fight and I read Gresham was off, I was like, I swore I saw that he just wrestled.
Is that the boxing fight?
Yes.
I saw a clip of it on Twitter.
The knockout?
Yes. Didn't he like push him so he would fall? Is that what happened? That's what I thought happened.
And bless his heart, I'm not here to question any great prize fight, but Dylan White's read on it is, this will pop you, Jaychele, because you've seen it. He believes that he was hurt by the uppercut, but when he was pushed, he believes he hit his head on the canvas, which is when the real damage was done. Now, I am not here to call anyone a liar, but that seems like an interesting read on things. Nonetheless, I'll leave. If you have any comment on that, feel free. But
he looked like he was just done, and it looked
like
a very gentle push. It was okay.
Poor Dylan said that. Bless his heart, man. He's like, he's pushed with both arms. It's like, well, he pushed him, but I don't know if that was what did the damage. I don't know. God, it was a fun night anyway. C4 was the promotion he worked.
Oh,
C4.
That's Josh Alexander's move, right?
I don't know. Yes, it is. All right.
I just did it. I'm never doing that again. That was not a good visual.
I didn't see it.
Is it Dylan with an A or with an O?
A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably put my glasses on.
A lot of announcers struggle with it because they say they say Dillian, which is incorrect. Pretty sure you're supposed to say Dylan.
Oh, that's my boyfriend's name. Dillian in like a pickle.
He didn't fight Tyson Fury, did he, on Saturday?
No, my boyfriend's still alive, so no. Is he going to be at SummerSlam, Joe?
Sure. It was objectively funny when he was like, I need to talk to Vince and the boys. Like, imagine him like calling Bruce Pritchard on FaceTime. I'm coming in. Awesome, incredible.
He's been in WWE before. I remember that, but I don't remember what happened.
He wrestled Braun Strongman in Saudi Arabia.
That actually happened?
It was really bad. Like, I mean, it was one of the worst matches they've done in years. In fact, let's find a cage match. Oh yeah, it was in the. Let me find the cage match
You
rating for
should
this.
do a Grin grappler on Braun Strowman, Joe.
Don't lash out. Okay, here we go. Tyson Fury versus Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
This match has got a rating of 0.45. That's incredible. Not even half a mark. 17 people give it a 0. That is awesome.
Yeah, we should watch it. Can
We'll
we
do
watch
that.
it with?
We'll do a
We'll
grin.
watch it with Oracle.
What we'll try and do is we'll try and do a paywall grin along that's like just weirdo matches like that one. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Hey, go Jaychele.
So anyway, back to this tag team gauntlet match. I'm sure you enjoyed the extended Gallows and Anderson showcase in the middle where they pinned, I believe it was 14 teams in the middle of this match. At one point, the crowd got quiet and the machine gun Carl Anderson looked at them and said, "Luke Gallows is the greatest wrestler in the world." And they said, "Yeah." And then they said, "Gallows, and I bumped my fist and got really excited. It was in all seriousness, I thought the match was fine. It was just so long, you know.
Yeah.
Like, where are you at?
The I enjoyed the first matchup, like the Cardonas and Myers, and I enjoyed that. I would have actually did that in the middle of the actual full match, but the Gallows and Anderson thing, I understand. You got to put him over. They're your big champs or whatever. I actually do like the idea of this gauntlet where the champions come out at the end. I think it does sound the most fair, you know.
Yeah.
I thought that made sense. I didn't think that the result was a surprise though. It was just, it really had no heat for me.
It was, you couldn't say it was like badly wrestled. I think the problem they had was they give this the kind of time that you'd give like an all-star tag team division.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's some fine teams
There
here,
was
but you know.
Vicky Dice and a man
Exactly.
who I forgot his name in here.
He's
Do you know his name?
Johnny Swinger?
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a stronger tag division to do this kind of match. As it was fine. It was not terrible. It's just way too long.
Rhino and Heath. Rich Swan, Willie Mack.
I like them as a team, I will say.
I like the OGK switch that they did when Honor No More came out. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
With the Vincent and Kenny King.
Why is Vincent in that group anyway? Have you asked anyone about that?
He's from Ring of Honor.
I know, but he feels slightly. His promos are weird.
All he says in his promo, on this show was, "You hear me, brother," or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? It was funny. It popped me.
I really think Kenny King is like a genuinely good promo. No one talks about.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'll have a panic attack. I love Kenny. Kenny's like an uncle.
See, here's the thing with that. I don't think you need to have a panic attack, but I appreciate your passion. You know? Like, imagine if, you know, when you said Bobby Lashley, everybody said, "Don't get me started. Don't even get me started. I have a panic attack about this." Like, you know, but I appreciate it. We both like Kenny King. Good. Okay, so we've come match by match. I want to do kind of broad thoughts now. Chat, while we do this, put your rating in the chat there out of 10. I'll build to my number, but I want to give some takes here. Firstly, big thumbs up for the way that they had like connective tissue for the main event. With the, you know, the way they kind of had like they'd cut to Josh warming up or talking to his family. All that stuff was really cool. I love the opening video package.
Me too.
Yeah, it was tremendous. I'm going to reiterate something I've said for a long time, and I believe it. I think in terms of actual quality, that Scott D'Amore, this whole regime has been their most prolific in terms of actual pay-per-view quality. These shows are generally good. There are issues, and I've said, and I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but like when you have the video package you and I enjoyed, it has to be said, it's a little bit of a bummer when you cut from that to like, it isn't as grand as you'd want it to be. And there's no shame in it, but you know what I mean, right? It's just, you know, is what it is.
Also, the pre-show matches.
Yes, I did not see those, so feel free.
Well, I saw both of them. I saw Chris Bay versus Eddie Edwards, which was my Chris Bay match. I wish it was on the show, but you know.
Eddie Edwards match.
You know the X Division triple threat was supposed to be on the kickoff?
And that tells you the roster is seriously out of depth, because I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, dude, I think they wanted to put the women's tag on the show, but they probably switched the two, which was good because the women's tag was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that division is there, but it's small. I feel
Mm.
wait, feels like the WWE's division. Don't please don't. I don't need to. I was talking about how much I love the Impact Women's division, but that tag division is just not it. I don't think any company really understands women's tags. I don't know.
She just in the middle of talking, like, do this thing.
Yeah, I kind of afraid to say it because I came to a realization while talking, and it just made me feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I get
um,
you.
the matches were okay. I don't know. Put fucking Chris Bay in the main event. I'm tired of this bullshit. I don't want to see Chris Bay fucking lose on a pre-show. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What are we doing, dude? Did
I
you see his
understand.
jacket? Did you see Chris Bay's jacket?
No.
Your girl's favorite wrestler on the back of the jacket.
Really?
Yeah.
Fair. Okay. I think genuinely no one rated the show. I just looked at the chat. Chat, rate the show. Did anyone watch the show?
Yeah,
This is what we're finding out now.
play along, guys. We know JJ
Yeah.
did. JJ, at least you give us our rating. Your rating.
Yeah. I'm genuinely, and this may sit people may laugh, I'm giving this thing an 8.
Oh.
I didn't think there was a bad match on it, and I thought there were multiple matches that were good to very good. Main event bordered on great for me. So did the Triple Threat actually. I thought it was a really, really good show. Jaychele, give me a rating for yourself. What do you think?
Yeah. All things considered, I can go 7.5 here. Maybe a little bit skewing
Yeah,
towards 8. I think there was a couple things that didn't click for me, like the tag match wasn't for me.
Yeah, it was long.
Jonah match wasn't for me either. I feel because I watched the pre-show matches and I'm kind of feeling away about them. I guess I shouldn't really include them, but meh.
Yeah.
But everything else was pretty strong. Like the triple threat for the X Division match. I mean, X Division title was good. Steve Macklin's match was up there, but not as good as I would have wanted it to be. But I think I set too high of expectations for that because I thought it was gonna be Jay White's just winning. But Taya, showed out, and I really like that. And obviously we had the Josh Alexander stuff, which was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Cage match is currently got 7.79, so that seems to be the ballpark. I am intrigued. I have to ask, chat, just put yes or no if you watch the show, because famously I did this for the Crockett Cup, and the results were damning to say the least.
Are you gonna watch the Always Ready show?
Oh God, yeah. Oracle better go to that fucking show also.
Exactly.
I'm willing to buy him a ticket, quite frankly.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. For him to be there for the NWA, the content we could get, like live correspondent, the Oracle of Wrestling, would be incredible. Could you imagine? Incredible. Right, okay, I'm looking
at it. You didn't pay for my ticket to go to the Women's Wrestling Army show, Joseph.
Well, that isn't the NWA. That's infinitely less funny.
Why? Because it'll actually be good?
Yeah, it might be good. Exactly. There is very few people in the chat that watch this show. Watched
part of it.
Like, I'm not even trying to be a dick about it, but like that is not a great sign. I'm just gonna be completely frank. It's a shame. The show itself was really good. The product is pretty consistently good. I think we both agree on that. It's just they need something to get people's attention, don't they? It's a real struggle for them. What do you think?
I've thought about this a lot recently, especially with like Reg talking about like forgetting the past of Impact and giving it a shot again. I think it's so hard for people to do that. I think I don't even know if a full rebrand would work because they rebranded from TNA to Impact. So I don't know like what that would change. I don't know. I don't know because their business model seems to be like working. Maybe like less taped shows or something like that, but that wouldn't appeal to all the wrestlers because some of the wrestlers signed on probably because they can do taped shows and work a bunch of indies as well. I don't know. I think for wrestlers, it's a very viable option for them, but like I just don't know how they grab the fans more. I don't
either. I think anyone being objective would agree that their booking is at the very least solid. Yeah. I actually think sometimes it's quite good. I don't think it very rarely for me strays into like being genuinely bad. But
The Moose stuff did, but that I think that's really the only thing too much recently for me.
it's so here's the thing with that. I agree, but it was bad in a tone deaf sense than like being bad stories. Does that make sense? I know that sounds silly,
That
but
and the matches were bad. Like when Moose
I
was
get
having a
you. Yeah,
match with like fucking W
right.
Morrissey, I was like, oh, okay,
No, that's fair. Yeah, I understand that. I do think sometimes they put the wrong talent in the wrong place.
yes.
Um, I just, I do sometimes wonder if,
Oh,
yes,
I completely forgot something.
yes,
I I think the other way to do it is to just I think they have to just make some stuff for free. Like you have to just put at
yeah,
least a show on YouTube for free, like that has your big stars. Because you just have to. People aren't gonna watch fucking Access TV,
hmm.
and you can't get a bigger deal than Access TV if people aren't gonna watch your show. So like, I don't know.
I do. I'll be like totally trans. People can say what they want. I don't care. I do worry about them slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I saw the numbers for the weekend, I was kind of like, it's not great, is it? I mean, I don't know if you saw the TV taping, but like
Oh, I saw it.
the
I
the
ignored
day
it because I was
before,
gonna get dunked on if I started talking about it, so I just ignored it.
yeah, and it's like it's different because it feels like you're dunking just mentioning it, but it's like it is relevant. Like on the day of the pay per view, they had TV the next day, and they'd sold like 200 tickets, and it's like it's a lot. I don't know how often you can go around the country if that's the numbers you're doing. I don't
Yeah.
know because I think they did better in Philly, and like it's difficult. Obviously, there's different factors at play, but it's just I do wonder what those numbers look like internally. They're clearly giving Access TV content, but like I don't know how sustainable it is. I guess is what I'm saying. It's a little bit. When I look at that model they've got, I worry about it a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, and I don't know how much they capitalize on their big signings either.
Yeah,
Like, I think they could have capitalized more on bringing Taya in. If they get a Mia
yeah,
Yim or an Athena, I think you need to like, work that.
yeah.
And one thing I do want to say,
Yes.
people saying that Impact doesn't have the best women's division or doesn't have the best women's division booking obviously are not actually watching the product. Like
Hmm.
the it actually pisses me off because I always have multiple conversations about women's wrestling. It's not a new thing for me to talk about women's wrestling, but the way that they kind of just slight Impact for their
Yeah.
history and also slight the workers in that division
Yeah. It's
is
unfair.
it's extremely unfair, and even I would go as far as like disrespectful. Because like, how are you gonna make a judgment like that if you don't watch the product? And they pulled up a list of the wrestlers and were like, "This is the division that's good." Dude, you don't even watch. Like, you don't even know how half of those wrestlers wrestle.
I agree with you totally. I think that's why when we do these conversations, we kind of almost feel bad about it because we don't want to be kind of fueling that like pretty brutal attack on them at every turn. I think it's a little much, but I don't know. It's hard. I don't know what the answer is. I think anyone pretending they know the answer is being a little bit.
It feels like bullying a promotion. No, I'm serious. No,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
like it feels like okay, wrestling feels like middle school, and AEW are the cool kids, but WWE has all the money, and then Impact, they're just there. They put in the hard work, they get the good grades, and then they're just like shit on. People bully them.
the problem with that kid that gets the good grades and puts the work in though, he had an older brother that went to the same school, and he was fucking awful. And
Very true. Yes.
it hangs over that kid, man. No, look, I do agree with you, but I think that unfortunately, and whether this is fair or not, I think you know exactly what I mean. There is a group of fans that love Impact Wrestling, and in their attempts to voice this love, I think sometimes it has the opposite effect than they intend, and
Did you
that
see
may
my
not be
comment?
fair.
Did you see
Hmm?
my replies when I tweeted about AEW fans?
Oh, I get it, and you know that. I know that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like when I talk about Samoa Joe on every show when he was a free agent, and it got to the point where the Grin audience decided they didn't like Samoa Joe because I'd done it so much.
Yes.
That happens. If I tweet something about Impact and you get in my replies telling me that actually Impact's like the best wrestling promotion ever, my general reaction is going to be what your general reaction is to the AEW stuff. Is like, well, go fuck yourself. Because that's what we are. We're petulant, you know? This is what it is, we're wrestling fans. So
we're all assholes.
Yeah, like if you don't follow me and we don't interact, other than when I say something about, other than well, come on now, it's the kid who loves history, you know that.
No, give me Darius Lockhart, and then we'll talk about history.
Well, you folded your arms. All right, okay, folks. I want to close this with an announcement here, and then Jaychele, we can do some plugs. This Friday, we're back. Same time slot, Jaychele? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
5 p.m. Eastern time, Friday night. We are doing Retire the Rankings. I remembered it. I didn't have to check my notes. It's a new show in which effectively, in response to the filth that takes place over at AEW in terms of rankings, Jaychele and I will be giving our wrestlers of the week. So what the show will really be is Jaychele and I listing the same 5 wrestlers that we like every single week and debating which of them should be top of the list, so on and so forth. Jaychele, we're excited for this, right? It's your pitch. You lay it to me. I think it's going to be fun. What do you think?
I'm so excited. I pitched this a couple weeks ago when we kind of had to come up with an idea around WrestleMania weekend for what we were trying to do next. But funny enough, there's talk about WWE bringing back their rankings now. So I feel like I'm, a fortune teller. I can predict the future. So I'm very excited for the show. Every single week, we're going to rank Blake Christian at number 1, and Joe is going to deal with it.
Okay. I do think a segment of this show, and I haven't even mentioned it before, but now that we've talked about it, I think it has to happen. A segment of this show has to be us looking at the current rankings and just being confused, right? Like a 5, we have to be like, Frankie Kazarian's number 3 again. Like,
Remember how Marina Shafir was number 2?
That rules. I respect it. Look at this. Look at Jason's going. Tasha Steelz versus Samoa Joe, the ultimate battle.
This is what's going to happen.
Clash of the Grinners. Okay, Jaychele, do some promotion for yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter at Jaychele Nicole. That's where I make all of my announcements. Very, very, very soon, the full documentary for Wrestling with Whiteness will be coming out. In the month of May, the full documentary will be out, and I'm very excited to present that to you guys. It has a lot of work that I'm very proud of. Lots of cool people are working on it with me now, so I'm very grateful for that. If you want to support me personally, you guys can go to patreon.com/Jaychele. JJ will probably leave it in the chat or something for you guys to check out. But yeah, check out my Twitter and then just search Jaychele Nicole on YouTube too. That's where the Wrestling with Whiteness documentary will be.
There you go, folks. I'll be back in about 2 hours and change with old Bobby, young Bobby. Talk about the Fed Dead Redemption, back again. And we apparently have a lot to talk about. He has texted me some information, not scoops, just stuff that Sean has posted that he framed as a scoop. So we have a lot to talk about. We're very excited. That is tonight. Tomorrow, I'm sure there'll be stuff. Maybe on Purist, the Dark Grin along. At some point this week, we're going to do that Fury, Braun Hall shit too. Much to look forward to. We appreciate you joining us. But in the meantime, enjoy this outro, folks. All hell.